According to Frank Edgart, augmented reality gives a new sense of place. It overlays digital graphics onto the real world with the purpose to strengthen a participant's experience of an activity or perception of reality. Augmented space is the physical space overlaid with dynamically changing information. Augmented reality is often an interactive experience. The user interacts with digital components as they would in the real world. Ronald Azuma states that there are 3 characteristics that define a system as an augmented reality system. These are: number 1, it combines real and virtual worlds; number 2, it is interactive in real time; and number 3, it is registered in 3D. Based on these 3 criteria, augmented reality supplements the real world by superimposing virtual objects onto it. It also improves users' understanding and interactions between the real and virtual objects. It all started in 1968 when a Harvard professor named Ivan Sutherland created the first head-mounted display named the Sword of Damocles. In 1992, the first fully functioning AR system was born. It was called Virtual Fixtures. In 2000, an open-source library called AR Toolkit was created. This aided developers in building AR software programs. The technology quickly progressed, and in 2014, Google Glass came out. Today, AR software is developing rapidly and becoming more ubiquitous in everyday life. Augmented reality implements computer vision, simultaneous localization, mapping, and depth tracking. Depth tracking is sensory data that calculates the distance to the objects. This grants the camera on the device to collect, send, and process data. This in turn displays digital content relevant to what the participant is looking at. The way in which AR combines real and virtual worlds creates a continuum of mixed reality. Olson describes mixed reality as the integration and merging of the real and virtual worlds in which the physical and virtual objects complement and interact with each other. Borko Furt and Julie Carminari state that augmented reality has 4 applications: advertising and commercial, medical, mobile types, and entertainment and education. Each type of AR has its own purposes, and different elements need to be considered for each purpose. AR delivers almost double the levels of visual attention in contrast to traditional equivalents. For example, in AR versus TV, we see AR delivers a 45% higher level of attention. This has been noticed by brands who want to make a lasting impression on their target audiences. Marketing experts now realize that memory encoding in consumers' brains results to purchase behavior, and therefore many brands have begun to use AR in promotional content and packaging. Shazam and Bombay Gin collaborated to virtually recreate the packaging of the blue Bombay Gin bottle by holding up the camera in the Shazam application. The packaging not only turned into a beautiful moving image, but gives the user various recipe ideas for the gin. Augmented reality has also been extremely beneficial in the medical industry, for professional surgeons and medical students. AR tools such as HoloLens glasses created by Microsoft are used for medical practice and can aid doctors in surgery, and can also speed up procedure time. For more complex surgeries, real-time data can save lives as surgeons visualize this data through the smart glasses. Mobile AR is defined by Olson as AR created and accessed with mobile devices in mobile contexts of use. This type of AR is categorized as marker-based and marker-less. Marker-based implies that applications need particular items such as a QR code to scan through a camera to recognize a code and access the desired data. Marker-less implies that it uses the participant's location to display virtual information. Marker-less applications can work anywhere and display visual information related to the participant's environment. Augmented reality can also be used within the education sector. A new application called Narrator AR was developed to support preschool writing in an interactive and enjoyable way. The application is used by 3 to 5-year-olds and encourages children to write words with a pen and paper whilst linking it to an AR experience. The application is free to download and is widely used within preschool education today. In the impact of virtual, augmented, and mixed reality technologies on the customer experience, it is discussed that there are 3 stages for customers: the pre-experience stage, the experience stage, and the post-experience stage. Augmented reality is most evident in the pre-experience stage. It allows for customers to receive a more personalized and detailed experience, such as customizing products to fit them and the ability to try on objects. During New York Fashion Week in 2018, Guests of Moschino and H&M's fashion were able to scan models' outfits as they walked down the runway and buy them on the spot, allowing them to be the first to purchase the collections. As augmented reality is an emerging media, opportunities for commercialization are beginning to show. However, this raises some problems legally. On the spatial web, there is little regulation for the shared space between the real and virtual realities. It is legal for anybody to place anything in augmented reality, but is being met with backlash. Snapchat's collaboration with Jeff Koons, where his sculptures are placed in AR at various landmarks, was criticised by artist Sebastian Irazouzis, who believed that companies should not get to use landmarks for free in augmented reality and should pay for the use of the space as they would have to in reality. By using his own app, Irazouzis projected a graffitied version of the statue in the same location that Snapchat had it. However, not everyone has the ability to create their own AR app, and they are at the mercy of large companies. Snapchat paid $7.7 million to patent GeoFilters, allowing them the right to charge for the use of AR on their platform. This allows the potential for many to be denied the ability to create in an augmented reality space. Another example that raised serious thought around the governance of virtual space was seen in Brazil through a marketing campaign for Burger King. To promote their own sales against their competitors, McDonald's, while using the Burger King app, the user could receive a free voucher by pointing their camera at the McDonald's advert and virtually burn it. The AR feature was an immediate sensation, but raised controversy. If there were laws and rules regulating virtual space, Burger King more than likely would not have been able to create the AR feature that virtually destroys another brand's physical promotional content. Augmented reality is flexible to its location. Therefore, it can be set in the location that makes the most sense for it. For example, Snapchat has an AR feature that augments the Eiffel Tower through a device and animates it. This feature is only accessible in Paris, which is relative to its context. This flexible feature also aids ubiquitous learning, which is the opportunity for a person to learn wherever they are in the world. If they wanted to learn more about the history of the Eiffel Tower, one could simply place their smartphone in a certain location to gain information on it. The benefits of this is that the medium is relatively low cost compared to special purpose learning technologies. A key constraint of augmented reality applications is that the resources of the devices are limited. These constraints consist of limited memory, computational and graphic capability, and restricted input and output options. It can often occur that the developer does not know what lighting, noise, and environmental elements might exist where the participant will experience the AR. Because AR needs to use vision tracking in most cases, it is necessary for there to be a certain amount of light so that the vision tracker can essentially see. Furthermore, an AR system may require participants to download content or have internet for it to work. An example of when AR has failed is when it is marketed to too large of an audience. Google Glass was supposed to be the device which exposed the general public to AR. However, this was not the case. Google did not take into account that many would dislike the invasiveness of the technology or how it was not aesthetically pleasing. The glasses were also an inferior technology to most smartphones at the time, with low quality camera and 3-hour battery life. They were discontinued in 2015, only 2 years after their launch. Recently, Google has come out with a second generation Google Glass, which are no longer a consumer product, but rather a tool for professionals such as engineers and surgeons. Augmented reality hasn't reached its full potential, according to the CEO of Niantic, the company that created Google Earth and Pokemon Go. It is expected that by 2025, that the augmented reality industry will be worth $25 billion. The projected growth for the number of AR headsets is set to hit 3.5 million by 2022. What's next for AR? With its current success in the industries such as entertainment and medicine, it is only expected that it will continue to grow and develop, changing the world as we know it today.